Hello, everyone. Good morning, and thank you for joining us at this open house event of the United Nations Global Compact Network Nigeria. Today, we will be sharing information about how the UN Global Compact is uniting the business community and how you can accelerate your sustainability journey, thereby accelerating and scaling global impact. My name is Tumi Onamade. I am the Senior Manager, Participant Engagement and Programs from the United Nations Global Compact here in Nigeria. You will also see on the screen, we have Meghan Black, who is the Senior Manager for Participant Engagement, the United Nations Global Compact in New York. And we'll be hearing impact stories from Oando PLC, represented by Busayo Balogun-Agusto, who is the Governance and Sustainability Supervisor, as well as Asmau Smaila, who is the Senior Manager for Sustainability, IHS Nigeria. Unfortunately, I bring you apologies from Naomi Nwokolo. She's the Executive Director of the UN Global Compact in Nigeria, who is unavoidably unavailable today. But she sends her best regards and hopes that at the end of this webinar, you would be able to see more interest in joining us, the UN Global Compact. Very quickly, I will do a rundown of the agenda for today. I have done the welcome and the introductions, and then we'll be going through the webinar norms and the presentation on accelerating your sustainability journey. Then we'll hear the impact story from Busayo, and then another impact story from Asmau, and then we'll have the Q&A session. So going over the webinar norms, I would say that one of the ways to get the most from our time together today is to be curious and open. Being curious and open-minded helps us to create room for new learning, and especially for some topic areas that might be new to you. And if there are topic areas that are not new to you, we encourage you as an individual and the organization that you represent here today to continue to develop, because you hold the key to the future. What we do today determines the kind of world we will live in tomorrow and the kind of world our future generations will live in. If you have any questions, please drop them in the Q&A box. We would attempt to answer all questions we receive. Just before I hand over to Meghan, who will be representing the theme topic, Accelerating Your Sustainability Journey, we're very quickly going to take a poll. So can we have the polls come up on the screen, please? Okay, so I understand that there's some technical glitches with the poll. Without wasting much time, I would now hand over to Meghan, who will be doing the presentation, Accelerating Your Sustainability. Meghan, over to you.
Thank you so much, Tumi, and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us. I am joining you from New York City, and it's very early here in the morning, but I'm very happy to be here with you as well. So before I kick off the presentation, just a quick introduction of myself. As Tumi mentioned, my name is Meghan Black, and I lead our participant engagement here at the UN Global Compact from our global office. Our team is responsible for supporting companies interested in joining the Global Compact through the application process, and then providing relationship management alongside our colleagues at Local Network Nigeria for participants once they join the Global Compact. So today I'm going to share a bit about the background of the UN Global Compact, how we came to be the world's largest sustainability initiative, and then Tumi and I will also share the opportunities that we offer in terms of engaging companies to both help you develop your sustainability strategy as well as bring it alive through initiatives at the global and local level. So before we begin, we have a brief video to play if we can advance the slides. All right. So we'll play this brief video, which provides a nice background on the Global Compact. Oh, I think the sound is not working on the video.
The United Nations initiate a global compact of shared values and principles which will give a human face to the global market.
The mission of the United 20 years ago, a small group of United Nations and business leaders came up with a visionary proposal.
I propose that you, the business leaders here gathered in Davos, and we, the United Nations, initiate a global compact of shared values and principles which will give a human face to the global market.
The mission of the United Nations Global Compact is to mobilize companies around the world to align their operations and strategies with 10 universal principles in the areas of human rights, labor, environment, and anti-corruption.
The UN represents the body that aims to drive international cooperation and drive peace and security for humanity. And I think it unifies all of society around this set of 17 goals.
With more than 15,000 companies and 3,800 non-business signatories based in over 160 countries, with more than 60 local networks, the UN Global Compact is the world's largest corporate sustainability initiative. Our ambition is to accelerate and scale the global collective impact of business by upholding the 10 principles and delivering the Sustainable Development Goals through accountable companies and ecosystems that enable change. With the UN Global Compact, participating companies achieve sustainable value by delivering measurable impact to the world's most pressing challenges. Specifically, we enable participating companies to drive impact on specific goals, bringing innovative solutions for a sustainable future, scale ambitious action through our local networks and global multi-stakeholder network, make measurable progress and communicate through a trusted reporting framework. We are working across a variety of focus areas where business can have an outsized effect on outcomes: anti-corruption, climate change, human rights, labour and decent work, gender equality, SDG integration, and transformational governance. Our multi-stakeholder coalitions scale ambitious action to deliver on the Sustainable Development Goals. CEO Water Mandate, CFO Coalition for the SDGs, Ocean Stewardship Coalition, Science-Based Targets Initiative. Our Think Labs shape thought leadership on critical sustainability issues and continuous performance improvement. They help define UN Global Compact thinking, curate best practices, and develop knowledge, guidance, and tools that empower business sector action on urgent topics. All companies, whatever size, sector, or geographic location, can contribute. Wherever you are on your sustainability journey, you will find engagement opportunities to help you make progress. Connect with industry, experts, peers, and with the UN at global and national level. Learn, gain knowledge and skills to make progress and deliver impact through tools and resources, the UN Global Compact Academy learning platform, peer learning groups and accelerators. Lead by showing bold leadership and inspiring others, and leverage your position and advocate for major impact through our policy advocacy and call to action campaigns. Communicate measurable progress towards your sustainability goals and targets, and build trust and credibility through our communication on progress, and get recognized for your sustainability efforts. Companies' ESG performance is increasingly important to a range of stakeholders. Today, consumers are choosing to buy from sustainable companies. 83% of consumers think companies should be actively shaping sustainability best practices. Employees prefer to work for sustainable companies. On average, 84% of employees are more likely to work for companies that share their values across the various elements of ESG. Investors are raising expectations. 88% of investors believe companies that prioritise sustainability represent better opportunities for long-term returns than companies who do not. Embedding sustainability in your company's strategy and practice drives and improves business performance and growth. Research shows sustainable companies perform better. They have shown to have stronger brand reputation and revenue growth, higher margin premiums, higher market valuations and stock price performance, and stronger risk mitigation.
Any business that continues to operate under its own self-interest will not be around very long. So businesses that have a strong purpose, that understand how they can make society better, will be embraced by society and will be around for a long time.
To do it, we need to do it together. Collaboration, north, south, east, west, black, brown, white. Strengthen the diversity of the human family is what we need right now to get us past this incredibly difficult time. Might sound like it's impossible, but that's what we work towards, making the impossible possible.
Join this movement of committed companies around the globe to deliver measurable impact on the world's most pressing challenges. Join the UN Global Compact today and deliver impact where it matters.
Wonderful, thank you. So hopefully that provided some nice background and an overview of where we're coming from here at the UN Global Compact. If we can advance the slides. So as the video shared, here at the Global Compact, we are a principles-based approach. We have 4 value areas, which include human rights, labor, environment, and anti-corruption. Within each of these areas, we have a total of 10 principles. So if you at your company are looking at environmental social governance as a framework for developing your sustainability strategy, you'll see that, of course, these 4 value areas form the foundation of what is ES and G, so environment, social, and governance. In addition to the 10 principles, we also have mandate to deliver on the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. We often get asked how these two work together, how the 10 principles and the Sustainable Development Goals are integrated. And essentially, the 10 principles provide a framework which businesses can operate within in order to do good business and ultimately reach the Sustainable Development Goals. We can advance the slides. So here at the Global Compact, how do we actually support companies to reach this initiative? It's a 3-pronged approach. If you click, we'll see the first. The first is that we drive impact on specific goals. So we help businesses identify where they can have an outsized effect on the outcomes. And we provide a very robust portfolio of engagement initiatives, which include learning opportunities, networking opportunities, and leadership opportunities, so that companies can gain the issue area knowledge that they need to be able to then set targets. So if we click next, to set targets so that they can scale ambitious action. So as you heard in the video, regardless of size, geography, and sector, here at the Global Compact, we have initiatives that can support businesses wherever they're currently at their sustainability journey. So once companies have set specific targets, we support them in taking action to actually make progress towards meeting those targets. And that's our final thrust, which is our support in helping companies transparently communicate their progress that they're making in the sustainability space with their stakeholders so that they can begin to build up that stakeholder trust. And this final point primarily happens through our communication on progress, which we'll share a bit more about later on. Next slide, please. So these are the 7 issue areas that we've identified where business can have outsized impact through our 2021-2023 strategy. These areas include human rights, labor and decent work, climate change, anti-corruption, gender equality, SDG integration, and transformational governance. Next slide. In terms of actually mobilizing these issue areas, as the video shared, we work with local networks across the globe. In Africa, we have 10 local networks, of course, including Local Network Nigeria, which is identified as one of our 4 centers. We also have an Africa hub, which supports the region overall. And we have ambitious expansion plans to increase our representation across Africa. Next slide. In terms of Africa, we have an Africa strategy for 2021-2023. So as you saw for the globe, we had those 7 priority areas. And for Africa, similarly, we've identified 5 priority areas, which are the greatest needs within the business community. So these include gender equality, decent work and economic growth, climate action, peace, justice, strong institutions, and partnerships for the goals. And at the bottom of this slide, you can see that we also have 4 subcategories, which are inherently linked to the 5 priority areas. Within each of these areas, we are developing out initiatives and programs and working with partners that are established with Africa to deliver programming that can really speak to these specific issue areas and really meet the needs of the business community across the continent. Next. So how do we do this? And how do we really support companies in terms of taking action? We have a wide range of activities that companies can participate in. These activities are designed for companies to either connect, to learn, to lead, and communicate. So if you click, you'll see that our first opportunity really focuses around, please click. Around events. We offer events at the regional and global level, and our local networks, including Local Network Nigeria, offers events at the local level as well, which Tumi will share a bit more about. We recently had one of our flagship events, excitingly, as part of the UN General Assembly, which is our private sector forum. And our next flagship event will be coming up with COP27 activities. Then we have a few areas where companies can learn. We have the Academy, which is our e-learning platform. If you click again, you'll see that we also have peer learning groups, which are designed to enable business-to-business knowledge exchange. If you click again, you'll see that we have accelerators. These are deep dive intensive programs. And then we also have 2 areas where companies can lead. This includes policy advocacy and campaigns, which are opportunities for companies to make a public statement. And then finally, think labs and coalitions, which are opportunities for companies that are leading in specific areas to come together, innovate, and lead and shape in that area. Next slide, please. So finally, a little bit about our communication on progress. All companies that join the Global Compact are required to annually communicate their progress. Our communication on progress is a reporting platform. We don't call it a framework because it's not intended to reinvent the wheel. Rather, it's aligned with existing frameworks that are out there. So if you're already using a reporting framework or you're looking at reporting frameworks like GRI or OECD, you'll see that our communication on progress is directly aligned with them. It's also aligned with public policy and regulations, so it can be a tool to support companies to be compliant with those policies and regulations as well. The communication on progress is an online survey. It includes 2 components, which includes a virtual statement from the CEO of the company, and then a set of about 60 survey questions, which holistically cover the 10 principal areas. So it holistically covers environment, social, and governance, which sets it apart from other reporting frameworks that are out there, which typically focus on a specific issue area. The communication on progress is a great tool for companies that are earlier on in their sustainability journey to look and understand what are the different areas that should be included in the sustainability strategy, so it can really provide a roadmap. It can also support companies that are just beginning their sustainability journey to get familiar with sustainability reporting, understand what is the data that should be collected and how should it be communicated out. And for companies that are more mature in their sustainability journey, it's a great way to demonstrate leadership because all communications on progress do get published publicly to the company's participant profile on the UN Global Compact. So it's an excellent place to drive stakeholders to be able to see in a clear and transparent way, what are the sustainability initiatives that are underway and what is the progress that is being made. If we advance to the next slide, I'm going to hand it over to Tumi to share a bit more about the local initiatives and how we contextualize this global programming specifically for the business audience in Nigeria. Tumi, over to you.
Hi, Meghan. Thank you once again, and hello to everyone. My name is Tumi, and if you were not here when I introduced myself, I'm the Senior Manager for Participant Engagement and Programs for the United Nations Global Compact here in Nigeria. So welcome to you once again. I'll just very quickly go over the group norms. If you have any questions, you can put it in the Q&A box. If you have any comments whatsoever as well, you can also put it in the chat box. I've also noted that there's a comment from someone who says, I can see the slides, but you can't see the presenter. So that would be from your personal settings of the Zoom platform on your device. So you probably want to check that out. So speaking to the programs that we run and the programmatic offerings that we run in Nigeria, what we make sure that we do is whatever that we are rolling out, whatever offerings, whatever programmatic offerings are to the benefits of the participating companies. We want to meet you at the point of your need. And it's very interesting because every other year we get feedback from organizations to specify the interests that they have. So in 2021 into 2022, we ran the Young Sdg Innovators, which Meghan had talked about earlier. And it was very interesting because there's an age gap to that particular program. The staff or the employees of the organization that are able to participate in this program are capped at 35 years. So it's that age gap, capped at 35 years. And what we found out from that program, which you also hear from the impact stories from people that participated in the Accelerator program, was that a lot of these young minds, let me put that phrase or that catchy word there, a lot of these young minds had innovative ideas, had solutions to social issues, the environmental issues that plague the world today, but needed some guidance on how to develop these ideas into real profitable businesses for the benefit of the organization, because we understand that profit is the bottom line as well. And that's very much of interest to the organization, to make sure that it's addressing social issues, but also being profitable for the business. And at the end of it, sorry, I'm not able to disclose this. We had organizations that came up with very innovative projects, very innovative business ventures for the benefit of the companies that they represented. Another program that we ran starting off in 2021 into 2022 was the Target Gender Equality Accelerator program. And it was very interesting because understanding the climates that we are present in Nigeria and Africa at large, the conversation around gender is, I would say, a few steps behind when it comes to what we should actually achieve in terms of questions, in terms of what we should achieve in terms of gender in the world today. There's statistics that says it would take us 276 years to close the gender gap. And just before COVID, that number was at 253 years. So it's not in my lifetime, it's not in my children's lifetime, but the truth about it is the decisions that we make today would affect the change that we want tomorrow. So this Target Gender Equality program ran for about 9 months. All our accelerator programs are like deep dive, intensive programs, ran for about 9 months, and we have representatives from our member organizations who understand how to embed target gender equality and how to embed it into the organizational strategy and the real steps that they need to make in every area of making sure that your board or your board of directors is gender balanced, how to grow the organization from the junior level, making sure that gender is very much focused, and other areas as well on how to get men and allies different topics, real broken down, and it's not just the superficial knowledge, real actual knowledge that you can implement in your work environment. We also run Climate Ambition Accelerator, started off early this year, and maybe most of you also knew that COP27 is in Africa in November, and it was very much interesting for organizations who wanted to partake in conversations around moving towards just transition, and then how to move and understand the situations that prevail our environment, the peculiar situations that plague our environment, Nigeria and Africa at large. So it was very interesting, Climate Ambition Accelerator, knowing how to track your emissions, knowing how to track different data that is very much necessary when putting together a climate report for your organization. It was very holistic. Then in 2022, we do have working groups, which you'll see on the screen, which cover anti-corruption, labor, environment, and human rights, which are 4 anchor points. And what we do is we know that an organization might have different focuses per time. So we share, we ask for inputs from organizations to know which working groups might you be interested in. And that's totally run by the member organizations. We are just advisory, but organizations, businesses actually know the issues that they face that might be embedded in any of these subject areas or these thematic issue areas. So organizations come together, they're led by businesses, and decide to address whatever it is, whatever issue it is under maybe anti-corruption, under labor, under environment, or maybe under human rights, come together and think of a way to propagate a solution to that particular sub-thematic issue. So that's one of the things we do with the working group. We also make sure that we also try to ensure that whatever results and whatever recommendations are made, definitely for the business part, the businesses have to implement, but every other arm of government as well, or regulatory bodies, whichever, we can then interface and liaise with them that this is the issues that the businesses are facing, this is the studies that have been done, and these are the recommendations that we have, so that the output of this working group is not just talk, like I would say, but real action that would effect change and help businesses in Nigeria. For events in 2022, we ran the CEO Roundtable, which was held in May. And it's what the CEO Roundtable really is CEOs of businesses coming together to address the issues that they have and see how they can continuously move forward the train of sustainability in Nigeria. We also ran a supply chain focus on labor and decent work. This was a training program that we designed for our participants to understand that, yes, supply chain is a very key part in our daily activities and in the operations of business, and then we focused on labor and decent work. Then workshops on anti-corruption was also very key. We ran a 3-part series for participants organizations to very much understand and break down every single area or every single topic under anti-corruption and that's needed for their business. ESG investments workshop is one that we're also going to run by November to, yes, in as much as everybody wants, maybe some organizations really want to make society change, but the investment is very much necessary to propagate sustainability, to propagate ESG. So that's some of the things that we tackle, excuse me, that's some of the things that we'll tackle under the ESG investment workshop to understand the areas where you can attract funding for and also how to access this investments. But coalitions, like Meghan said earlier, we have the CEO Water Mandate. We recently had an endorsement program, excuse me, beg your pardon. We recently had an endorsement program as well. And what the CEO Water Mandate is, we are very much aware that for organizations that have heavily vested in making use of water as the primary source in whatever production or manufacturing that you're doing, The truth about it is river basins are for collective use. There is no one business that has a sole right to a river basins, but there are issues with these river basins in terms of supply, and organizations can testify to that. So we decided to bring organizations together. This CEO Waterman is actually run on a global level, and we're the first implementing it in Africa. So to bring organizations together to address issues related to water basins, because if an organization who is in the manufacturing of drinks, whatever kind of drinks, cannot get supply from a river basins, that hampers their production, which therefore would hamper the sales and then hampers the revenue of the businesses. So it's a win-win for the organization and the environment and the society at large that let these organizations address these issues, identify the issues, collective issues that they can put hands together to solve, and then can help their resource base, which is the river basins, and also help the environments as well. The CFO coalition is also really great, and it's aimed at CFOs of organizations, putting together, I think, about $100 billion targeted at sustainability investments. And those are some of the initiatives that we've run in 2022. For 2023, what we try to do is to get feedback from organizations on what they need, the issues that they're facing as well. And that helps us design our calendar for the year, and also identify the areas that organizations need help in and how we can be of support. Talking about support, additional support that we're able to provide, the communication on progress guidance. Our communication on progress platform is aligned to the different standards that you might know, GRI, OECD, Sdg. And if any of these things that I'm saying are a bit alien to you, then you should you should be a part of the UN Global Compact to learn from the foundational stage. We cater to everybody from any organization that's at the level of learning, and also organizations who are at the level of leading, because we also want to hear the success stories, and you can also share that resource and that knowledge base with every other organization on our platform. We also run onboarding sessions for our participants, where we talk about the offerings and the wide array of offerings that you have benefits to, or are you able to access as a UN Global Compact participants. So that's all on our offerings for Nigeria. Like I said earlier, if you have any questions whatsoever, please drop them in the Q&A session. Thank you very much. Meghan, I'll take it back to you. Would you like to make any other additional comments?
No additions from me. Thanks, Tumi.
Oh, great. So hi, everyone. Quickly running through the agenda again. We've gone through the webinar and this welcome and instructions, the webinar norms, and then we've gone through the introduction to the UN Global Compact. So right now, we are going to have an impact story from Busayo Balogun-Agusto, who is the Governance and Sustainability Supervisor for Oando PLC. Yes, I'm just going to give a brief bio about Busayo. Oando PLC is a participant of the UN Global Compact and very much engaged with the UN Global Compact. And I can say they're one of the organizations that access most of our offerings. I just want to talk more about how the UN Global Compact has accelerated their sustainability journey. So a brief bio about Busayo. Prior to joining Oando PLC, she worked as a corporate lawyer in the law firm of Udo Doma and Belosage, where she provided advice in the practice areas of electric power, mergers and acquisitions, finance, labor, employment, general corporate advisory, and corporate governance. She is one of the managers of the Governance and Compliance Professionals Nigeria platform and the coordinator of both the Nigerian Bar Association Women Forum External Relations Committee and the Nigerian Bar Association Section on Business Law, Corporate Governance, and Compliance Committee. Busayo has successfully represented her company at various engagements, such as the United Nations Global Compact Target Gender Equality Program in March 2022, which I referenced earlier, and United Nations Global Compact Young Sdg Innovator Program, YSAPE, in 2021. Busayo is licensed to practice as the barrister and solicitor of the Supreme Court of Nigeria and has authored various publications on corporate governance. She holds a law degree from King's College, London, a master's degree in policy and development from the London School of Economics and Political Science, and a GRI professional certificate on GRI sustainability reporting standards. Busayo?
Thank you, Tumi.
Yeah, you're welcome. Over to you.
Good morning, everyone. It's a great pleasure to be here to share my experiences on how the Ungc has accelerated Oando's sustainability journey. I remember when I joined Oando in 2019 of August, and I was shortly after thrown into the planning for the CEO Breakfast Roundtable event. It was themed Financing the SDGs, and it was held in honor of the then incumbent CEO and ED of the UNGC, Lise Kingo, as well as the former Emir of Kano, His Highness Mohammed Sanusi, who was at the time one of the 17 UN SDG advocates. This event took place October 10th, 2019, and Oando organized it in collaboration with the local network and other companies like Lafarge, The Exchange, Access Bank, and Unilever. I remember also a day before the Breakfast Roundtable event, we held a Danish cocktail event at the Danish embassy because Lise Kingo is from Denmark. And I remember being there until about 2 a.m. and then rushing back to my office at 2 a.m. to conclude preparations for the Breakfast Roundtable that was going to take place the next day. Needless to say, we were all so exhausted on that day, and there were a lot of last-minute changes, but everything went very well. It was an amazing event. It was very, very productive. And I think that in addition to learning more about the global office as well as the local network, and also learning more about the participant companies of the local network, it was an opportunity to just gain an insight into what the UNGC stands for. And there's a picture of us. I don't know if you can display that picture on the screen, a picture of us at the event. So that's Naomi. She's the ED of the local network. That's Ogogo, who was a colleague of mine, and that's me. That's the Emir of Kano, as well as at the event theme Financing the SDGs. Anyway, that was the first of many to come events with the UNGC. And I must say that the UNGC, both at the global level and also at the local level, have been very, very instrumental to driving and supporting us in our sustainability journey. It's important for me to mention, however, that this relationship between Oando and UNGC predated my existence in Oando, because Oando actually joined the UNGC in 2009, as far back as that. We became a signatory to the UNGC as far back as 2009. And the Chief Compliance Officer and Company Secretary of Oando is on the board of the local network here in Nigeria. And so she plays a very active role in all the initiatives. Of course, through her engagement with the UNGC, we've been able to implement a lot of practices, a lot of policies, a lot of recommendations within our company. It's what I'm going to present on today is just the tip of the iceberg, because I had stated earlier, the relationship between Oando and UNGC predates my existence in Oando. I've been asked to speak for just about 10 minutes. I'm going to be as brief as possible. I've been asked to speak, first of all, on what ambitious action in relation to the SDGs mean here at Oando. And I think for us at Oando, it means 7 things. The first is that for us to be ambitious about our actions in relation to the SDGs, we thankfully have a very committed leadership that provides us with the time, the resources,
Hello, everyone. I think that the network has probably caused a bit of an imbalance to to Busayo. I don't know if we're going to hear a second impact story from Asmau, and not to waste time, if Asmau can quickly just come on, and then if Busayo joins later on, we'll go back to Busayo.
Sure. Thank you, Tumi. Thank you, everyone. Just trying to confirm if you can hear me.
Okay, great. So I'm going to give a brief bio about Asmau Smaila, who is the Senior Manager for Sustainability at IHS Nigeria Limited. Yes. So Asmau is a sustainability expert with a combined 18 years of work experience as an independent consultant and trainer on a gamut of HR subjects, negotiation skills, public speaking, and conflict management. Asmau graduated from the University of Abuja with a BSc in accounting. She graduated from Denver University Kellogg Graduate School of Management, New York, with a distinction MBA with specialization in human resource management. As an advocate for lifelong learning, she has pursued a great number of professional development courses. In between study and travel, Asmau has worked in public service, private sector, oil and gas, before moving into the telecommunications space. It is worthy to mention, she received the award of Ambassador for Peace from the Universal Peace Foundation almost 2 decades ago. Among her professional memberships are the Association of Sustainability Professionals in Nigeria, the UK Institute of Corporate Responsibility and Sustainability, ICRS, USA International Society of Sustainability Professionals, ISSP, and currently pursuing certifications in ISO 26000, lead implementer, and lead auditor. She is an ardent believer that the moral arc of the universe bends towards justice. With a diverse background in accounting, business administration, HR, negotiation skills, public relations, and branding, she brings an eclectic touch to impact lives and drive sustainable development one project after another. Currently, she is the Senior Manager, Sustainability at IHS Towers, Nigeria. Her job affords her opportunities to fulfill commitments towards social impact and rebuilding efforts in the ravaged parts of the Northeast, as well as 6 geopolitical zones in Nigeria, which she has described as painful and challenging, yet truly humbling and rewarding. And those are her exact words, quote and unquote. Asmau embraces a world of flavors and loves to share a life-changing code that makes her pursue more travel to enjoy sights, sounds, and spices. As she says, the world is a book. If you do not travel, you only read a page. Going into 2023, she plans to proactively pursue and discover a world of innovative projects, creating possibilities for a sustainable future, and find out what to do to affect the world of tomorrow positively. Please let's welcome Asmau. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Tumi. Hello again, everyone. Just checking. I can be heard clearly.
Yes, very much loud and clear.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so jumping right in. So I'm going to talk from a point of working within IHS Nigeria space. So IHS is committed to finding practical, innovative solutions to address the biggest social and environmental challenges across our value chain. So our sustainability and CSR strategy is aligned with the group's framework and international charters, such as the United Nations Global Compact Principles and SDGs, as well as also aligning with Nigeria's national aspirations to use telecoms as a tool for economic growth. So just by these few sentences, you can see why we need the Ungc and why we're walking this journey hand in hand. So at IHS, we respond to national challenges by identifying and prioritizing key projects that fall within our 4 sturdy pillars and goals, which form the core foundation we build upon when we're looking at projects and programs. So I'll walk you through a mental dashboard of what an ambitious action looks like at IHS Towers. So I mentioned the 4 sturdy pillars that we're governed by, and these are people and communities, ethics and governance, environment and climate change, and our people, sorry, I mentioned people and communities, education and economic growth. So the mental dashboard is this. You look at the pillar, say for example, people and communities, you create IHS strategic goals that align with the national aspiration. An example is building strong communities, creating an exemplary workforce, because here again, sustainability and CSR is very important on the outside. We make so much noise, but it's just as important on the inside, because the cliche which stands true is our people are our best assets. So you have to create that exemplary workforce for you to be able to affect the outside too. So you look at targets. The next thing on the dashboard is you look at the targets. For us now, the current target is 2020 to 2025. Here, when I mentioned the strategic goals, what are those targets for them? One is to improve access to universal health coverage and well-being programs to 5 million Nigerians. Another target is to ensure a 10% increase of employee volunteers and engagement from the previous year's baseline. So we collect these baselines and we're counting from 2020 to 2025. Then the next on the dashboard is our key performance indicators. Example, number of people with access to essential health services through platforms supported by IHS, such as financial risk protection, access to quality essential healthcare, access to safe, effective, quality, and affordable medicines and vaccines for all, employee volunteering hours, and other initiatives that are created within to impact the outside. So we hone in to the SDGs, and these SDGs have targets and indicators. From the example I mentioned just under one pillar now, we already have identified targets and indicators which fall within 3.8, 3.81, and the likes. Then we collect the baseline numbers. Currently, we have for 2020, 2021, and we're working towards 2022. So I won't take you through all the 4 pillars, but it's just to give you a snapshot of how we do it. It's not just a blind journey because there's a need, you chase it to fulfill it. Then of course you have to face management, who gives us 110% support, I assure you. But then again, to make judicious use of funds and to ensure we're aligned to these SDGs, when we present these projects and programs, we do it down to a nitty-gritty. For example, mere deployment of solar-powered water stations may sound very easy, but we go in with an idea summary. For example, again, I'd like to give examples because this is sort of a storytelling, so it's relatable. You want to go to a community and deploy solar-powered water stations. So your idea summary should be very brief, right? Provide rural communities with access to steady water supply through construction of boreholes and submersible pumps powered by solar system. What development challenge is addressed here? And this is linked to SDGs. By mere deploying that, you're looking at SDG 3, 6, 7, and 11. That's good health and well-being, clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, and sustainable cities. You showcase your project, the expected outcome, and a sustainability strategy. So for most projects, we go through that route just to ensure it's ambitious and realistic. Being ambitious isn't enough, it has to be realistic. So the next is challenges we face. There's so many challenges, and of course they would have either a negative or positive impact. Positive because challenges are also opportunities to do better, to be more innovative. So generally, I would say for IHS and so many companies we've worked with, and from research, we know that identifying an ambitious but realistic target for every company's context takes a bit of time, and it depends on many internal and external factors. So it's not a one size fits all. It's not a cookie cutter solution. So even though this is a challenge that has stared us smack in the face, we see it as an opportunity to strategize and tailor suit our business needs and tweak to ensure continuous improvement. It's actually a learning curve, and we're getting better at handling, exploring, and implementing. Another challenge, without doubt, among the myriad of challenges we are fraught with is we're faced with is achieving SDGs is the disconnect between intent, action, and outcome. This has further created that gap between good old philanthropy and sustainability. So we keep saying the government has to do this, the government has to take charge. But when we look at the bigger picture, who is the government? It's not just one senior officer or secretary, it's a workforce in its entirety. And within the government space, it's either the middle or lower level government workers that actually work towards implementing SDGs, despite, the global world talking about SDGs. Unfortunately, they're exactly the ones who do not understand or comprehend the role of SDGs. So which is why whether it's non-profit, for profit, it depends on any space, the UNGC is one avenue that can handhold you and guide you towards ambitious projects. So what am I doing differently right now? A lot, but let it be stated here and now that if there were a lifetime membership bouquet at the UNGC, I'd sign up for it. So I'll throw a question to the audience. When you're going on vacation, aside parking for a trip, what do you really need? You can put in your answers in the chat box, but I'll keep going due to the time constraint. You need an itinerary. You need a map, a guide, or currently Google Maps, right? So UNGC is that compass you need, and its support is unrelenting. I doubt a month goes by without a check-in from either Naomi, Tumi, or I can initiate that, and they're always there. They're like the backbone. I have no worries. The company has no worries. They're always there. And with IHS as a UN Global Compact signatory, we participated in the Target Gender Equality Accelerator program for other participating companies. And it was done through facilitated performance analysis, peer-to-peer learning, and a whole lot more on multi-stakeholder dialogue at the country level. Upon IHS completion of the Target Gender Equality program, we received a letter from the UNGC CEO and ED, as well as a certificate of completion as the participant on behalf of IHS Holdings. So the UNGC that's beginning of the year when we completed this program. It was and still is a great platform and opportunity to showcase IHS and our commitment to inclusion and women empowerment. Also among the many opportunities unlocked by this affiliation with UNGC is the nomination and submission of a case study profile of a female leader within our company to be featured in an upcoming newsletter edition and the UN Global Compact page. So this is sort of a gift that keeps on giving. And the icing on the cake, we're currently working in progress to sign up to the Women Empowerment Principles. And this is all thanks to UNGC's handholding and guidance. Then coming from that angle, another significant change, albeit positive, post my engagement with UNGC is I tend to push towards and champion theory of change using 3 simple steps: analyze, act, and amplify, especially regarding social impact. Now on to the question on collaboration. I'll use the analogy of clapping with one hand. I know there's so many listeners, but can you raise up your hand and try to clap with one hand so I can hear the noise? So all I hear is mute. And I'll come back to that. Some people call it a proverb and coin it as one hand cannot clap, meaning it takes 2 to tango. When we come together, we do more. Another acronym or team is together we achieve more. And one last justification, 1 + 1 in math totals 2. But when you come together, it's beyond 1 + 1, it's synergy. And synergy is greater than the whole, where 1 + 1 will give you 3 or even greater. So I hope these give some context to the high importance of collaboration. Now let's take a deeper dive and hone in on SDGs again. SDGs are unmatched in their ambition and scope and are poised to test the determination of the global community over a certain number of years and to improve livelihoods for all. So any success or any failure is largely dependent on SDG 17, which aims to revitalize universal partnerships for development. One aspect of this SDG 17 is it binds all other goals together, and it is pretty much content heavy compared to other goals. So when you look at the bigger picture, it's all about collaboration when it comes to SDG 17. The private sector has a very crucial role in the realization of SDG 17 as long as we do not pursue narrow-minded agendas. And who best to guide you with your agendas than Ungc? What does this tell us? Collaboration is not just possible, it is key. And this has been validated over time. We can lead the way in developing SDG aspirations to actual progress and move these partnerships from high hopes to actual reality. So finally, when it comes to SDGs, we know, yes, we're currently off track, but I'll start with a reminder that it's 100% truism. Social enterprises can create social impact in any way they can through the SDGs, right? And with this, there's a clarion call to come together individually and collectively, because a harsh reminder is 2030 is around the corner. Only 8 years to the finish line to create the tipping points for the perfect utopia we want. Then we all know COVID ushered in uncertain times for all humanity, where a threat to one was a threat to all. Again, COVID slowed every facet of life, and it is time we recover better and through concerted efforts. On a final note, I call upon everyone to join Ungc and enjoy the immeasurable benefits of the different accelerator programs, just like I did with the Target Gender Equality. And they have other offerings: climate change, business and human rights accelerator, and very importantly, another one I came across, SDG Ambition, as a guide towards supporting companies in setting ambitious corporate targets and accelerating the integration of the 17 SDGs. And as we near 2030 deadline, there's no time better than the present to seize the monumental opportunity to reduce inequality and poverty, protect the environment, and promote peace and justice in implementing the SDGs. Thank you, Tumi. Thank you, Ungc, and thank you everyone for listening.
Thank you very much, Asmau. It was very interesting to hear your point of view on your engagement from the Ungc, and we're glad that we can be of support. The work that we do is not for the win of any individual person or one organization, but it's for the win of every one of us as individuals in our private lives and also for businesses. So yes, so I think in between, Asmau was experiencing connectivity issues, and for better bandwidth, she had a video off so that it won't disrupt the call like it was experienced with Busayo. So we have Busayo back now, but just before we go over to hear from her, we have a poll up on the screen, and we would like to ask you to answer the following questions. So we have question 1 that says, did you know about the United Nations Global Compact prior to this event? So yes or no answer. And your idea of what the UN Global Compact does. You have option 1 that says guide businesses to embed principles and business practices. 2, work with government to build schools. 3, give grants. We have question 3 that says, who are the UN Global Compact's key stakeholders? So option 1, governments. Option 2, businesses. Option 3, UN agencies. So we just have 1 minute to take this poll. We'd like to have your feedback to help us know if we're actually passing the message correctly and you're able to understand the work that we do. So very quickly, in 1 minute, we would like you to take the poll. Just to mention as well that we will not know whoever answers the polls because the results are aggregated and definitely anonymous. Okay. So can we have the results of the poll, please? Okay, so the result says 74% of the people on the call did know the UN Global Compact prior to this event, but 26% did not. So we're glad that you now know about the UN Global Compact. For question 2, saying what does the UN Global Compact do? Our major work, or our key, the key work that we do is to guide businesses to embed principles in business practices, which 96% of you have said. Then question 3, it says, who are the UN Global Compact key stakeholders? We have 74% saying businesses, 15% saying UN agencies, 11% saying governments. So I'm going to take a bit of time on question 3. Our work is to assist businesses in accelerating their sustainability journey. However, we make sure that we can, because businesses and us can do this work alone. So we work together with every other UN agency that you can think of, depending on the subject area that we are trying to penetrate or deep dive into. And we also work with the governments because we understand the role that the government plays in helping businesses stay alive and also addressing sustainability issues. So thank you very much for your time. Asmau, thank you once again. Okay, yes, I can see that Asmau's face is up. If we can just do a spotlight on her so we can see her face. Thank you very much. I think your mic is off.
Yes, it is. Apologies to everyone. I noticed a glitch the second I switched on, so I quickly switched off and went through the flow. Thank you again for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Asmau. Thank you for your great insights. If you have any questions directly to Asmau, please drop them in the Q&A box. We would attend to them just after Busayo comes on. So Busayo, over to you.
Hi, everyone. I'm back again. Apologies, technology failed me. Thanks, Asmau, for that great presentation. So I was just speaking about what ambitious action means to us here at Oando, and I had mentioned that it first of all means strong corporate commitment, which we have here, thankfully. And the second thing I mentioned is that it involves having a clear sustainability strategy, which I mentioned as well. Our strategy sets out a short-term, medium-term, and a long-term actions, and they're very much aligned with our overall corporate strategy. And 2 things are very important with regard to our strategy. The first thing is to be innovative, to constantly stay ahead. And the second thing is to understand that there are lots of opportunities to be seized when we engage with the SDGs. And I know a lot of people sometimes think that their compliance requirements have been increased, or they may see it as a way of increasing their costs, but they're not paying as much attention as they should to the opportunities that could arise from engaging very effectively with your SDGs. And I'll give you an example. We are an oil and gas company, and we understand very much the impact that our operations have on the environment. And so what we're doing as a company is to increase our investment in the renewables sector. So last year, we incorporated Oando Clean Energy Limited. That's a subsidiary of Oando, and it's a renewable arm. And the focus involves sustainable transportation, waste to energy, solar solutions, gas, biofuels, and a lot more. And in June of this year, we actually entered into an MOU with the Lagos State government, the Lagos State Metropolitan Transportation Authority, to roll out electric vehicle buses for mass transit, as well as the charging infrastructure. Third, ambitious action for us at Oando means that the SDGs are actually embedded in our strategy, in our operations, and in our decision-making. And so here at Oando, sustainability is every employee's responsibility. In every unit, from our internal audit to our risk, to our procurement, to our services, to our human resources, down to our IT units, we embed SDGs, and we're constantly thinking about innovative ways to continue to do so. Fourth, here at Oando, ambitious action means that we have clear assignment of accountability and responsibility for our SDG performance. So we have right at the top, we have a risk and an ESG board committee that reports to the main board. And the risk ESG board committee is supported by an ESG executive committee, which in turn is supported by the governance office where I work, as well as a robust risk, environmental, health, safety and security and quality unit. And everything, all our targets are cascaded down to every single employee, because like I said, at Oando, sustainability is a way of doing business. It's not something that's done in isolation. It trickles down from the top right to the bottom. 5, at Oando, ambitious action means that we measure, we disclose, and that we remain accountable to our not just internal stakeholders, but to our external stakeholders. And we do this because we need to provide updates on the progress that we have made with regard to our SDG performance. And we do this because we also need to be transparent in that process. We've actually been reporting, we've actually been issuing sustainability reports since 2013 in alignment with the GRI standards. And we also obtain external assurance on those reports by independent third parties. In addition to that, we report on the level of compliance that we have with the Ungc 10 principles. And only just 2 or 3 weeks ago, we submitted what is known as a communication on progress report. So this is a Ungc report that essentially seeks to determine the extent to which companies are compliant and aligning their policies, their procedures with the Ungc 10 principles. In our annual reports as well, we do a bit of SDG reporting. And so in this regard, we remain very accountable in a transparent and in an accurate way to our stakeholders, no greenwashing. 6, ambitious action towards Oando means, and I'm happy that Asmau mentioned this, collaborations. I mean, SDG 17 is partnership for the goals, because I personally believe that if you want to go fast, you should go alone, but if you want to go far, you should go together. So we are constantly deploying the use of scalable and multi-stakeholder action to sort of accelerate our progress with regard to the SDGs. Too many to mention. I'm sure I'm overrunning my time, but we've partnered in the area of SDG 1, no poverty, SDG 2, which is a food program initiative that the humans of Oando run. So we usually feed the poor. SDG 4, we have Oando Foundation, which has impacted significantly the quality of education in Nigeria. 88 schools across 23 cities in Nigeria. SDG 5, SDG 6, SDG 7, affordable and clean energy. Like I mentioned, we have a subsidiary, Oando Clean Energy, SDG 16. I could go on, but partnerships and collaborations are the way to go if you really want ambitious action. And then finally, at Oando, ambitious action means that we constantly monitor, we constantly evaluate, we constantly sustain what it is that we're doing, because it's important to go back to the drawing board sometimes to measure how far you've come as a company and what you can do better. I don't think you can ever be, there's always room for improvement. And so we're very reflective in that regard. And those are 7 ways that we drive our ambitious action initiative at Oando. The second thing I'm going to quickly talk about are some of our notable engagements with the UNGC. Now, like I had mentioned, the relationship between Oando and the UNGC predates my existence with Oando. And so I can't talk about every single thing that we've done. And I've shortlisted this presentation to just 3 key SDGs and that I was to a large extent part of. But like I said, this is just a tip of the iceberg. The first has been in SDG 16. If you do a lot of work with the UNGC, you know how passionate they are about SDG 16. SDG 16 seeks to promote peaceful, just, and effective institutions. And when you think about it, as a country, right, your progress is very much determined by your leadership. As a private company, your progress is determined by your leadership. Even within your home, the progress that you have as a family is determined by the leadership. And so I must commend the role that the UNGC has played with regards to supporting us with that SDG 16 journey. I personally think that SDG 16 is one of the most important SDGs. And I think that it actually might be one of the the least understood SDGs by businesses, which is why the UNGC has really prioritized this. We've done a lot of work with the UNGC in this regard, and that work has informed what we do as a company. So the Chief Compliance Officer and Company Secretary of Oando PLC, that's Ayatollah Jagun, only a few days ago attended a kickoff meeting for an initiative called Transformational Governance, which seeks to drive ethical and integrity driven performance by businesses. In the past, we've worked on initiatives like the UNGC Action Platform Consultation. We did this in collaboration with Balogun-Agusto and the Ungc, of course, and the purpose of this was to prepare a framework for engagement by businesses on SDG 16. A lot of other work, making global goals local, a lot of anti-corruption work. We did the working group project. We did the Siemens anti-corruption project, too many to mention. But I think the conclusion is that UNGC has played a pivotal role in supporting our growth in the area of SDG 16. The second area is in relation to SDG 5, which is gender equality. I attended the UNGC Target Gender Equality Initiative. The program, I think it was concluded earlier this year, and it was an extremely rewarding experience. As a result of that program, Oando intensified its efforts towards ensuring that we make our supply chains work for women. So we have a project called Project Enable. And what this project seeks to do is to increase the participation of female-owned entrepreneurs within the supply chains of not just Oando, but corporates at large. I'm not going to pull out the stats, but you'll be shocked to hear, well, you may or may not be shocked to learn that Nigeria actually has one of the highest rates of female entrepreneurs in Africa, but they still remain largely underrepresented within large corporates. And we're trying to address that. And this was largely as a result of the feedback, the learnings, the recommendations, the guidance, the tools that we received from the UNGC under this program. That's going very great. And as a result of the UNGC Target Gender Equality Program as well, we've also intensified our efforts towards ensuring that Oando remains a very diverse and inclusive company. And in 2021 December, we appointed 2 new female directors to the board. Finally, the YSIP program was the third memorable event that we had with the UNGC. And like Tumi already mentioned, it essentially brought together different professionals from different companies to deploy and to conceive, first of all, and then to deploy innovative technology-driven solutions to solve critical SDG problems. I beg your pardon. Happy to say that Oando and MTN were actually shortlisted as the only 2 Nigerian companies to represent the local network at the UNGC, I think, Business Live, which was on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly. It was a great event. And as a result of that engagement, we've actually further expanded the scope of the solution that we presented at that event, which is actually a PET recycling project. So we're recycling PET, plastic to food grade PET pellets. And as a result of this engagement with the UNYSIP, we've expanded that scope. Just to conclude, I'd like to thank the UNGC for all they do. If you haven't already joined the UNGC, you should. There are lots of benefits that you will get. They will support you in every way that they can in your sustainability journey. And don't forget that if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. Thank you so much. And over to you, Tumi. That's us, sorry, that's the YSIP. Yeah, that's us at the YSIP onboarding event or offboarding event that took place November last year. Thanks.
Yes, thank you so much, Busayo. Thank you for sharing your insights and sharing your perspective as well on your engagement with the UNGC. Just like she mentioned, whatever area, yes, everyone is familiar with the 17 SDGs, or maybe not everyone, but you might have seen that color wheel or are familiar with the color, but it's really a broad spectrum. And we are able to assist with that broad spectrum of whichever area, SDG 1, SDG 2, or all the way to SDG 7 that might be of interest to your organization. We're able to provide guidance and support in that specific area. So I mentioned earlier, if you had questions, you could drop them in the Q&A box. Yes, so I think on the screen, I'm not sure if you can see it yet. Yes, so those were some of the finalists from the YSAFE program that we ran last year. So I'll just be going very quickly to the Q&A box to see if there are any questions that we need to answer. Okay. So I see a question from someone saying, can you join Ungc as an individual? Unfortunately, no. We only take on joining the Ungc is actually just organizational based, company based, that is. So you can get your organization on board with this presentation. If you also want us to follow up with you or follow up with other stakeholders in your organization, we can definitely do that to bring them on board. We have a question that says the MOU with Lamata, I think this question is directed at Busayo. The MOU with Lamata on electric buses is really ambitious. Do you plan to do this via IPP? And when do you intend to commence? So I think Busayo is writing out an answer. I'll see if the answer will drop shortly so I can read it out to the benefit of everyone on the call. Or if Busayo would like to speak to it, she can go ahead. Okay, so not to, I'll come back to that when the answer has been dropped and then I'll speak to it for the benefit for everyone on the call. So if there are no other questions, very quickly, I would like to show you this very interesting video. Just take a watch and then I'll speak to you later.
Greetings, I'm Sando Giambo, the CEO and Executive Director of the United Nations Global Compact. The Sustainable Development Goals and the Global Compact 10 principles aren't only aspirations to make our society and planet better, they're also good for business. And that's why we're inviting all of you who work for companies and organizations in our Global Compact family to show your support through our new campaign called It's Good for Business. It couldn't be easier. Go to our dedicated website, choose your language, pick a theme for your photo, snap a selfie, here goes, and share it on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, or Instagram, along with a message to your followers. That's it. Your support for our mission, our 10 principles, and the Sustainable Development Goals is invaluable. And by sharing your photo and your message, you let your friends, your colleagues, and the world know that we're all in this together, united in the business of a better world. Thank you.
Okay, so yes, that's the video that we had. I think the link will drop in the chat box now. So it's just a call to you as individuals to do that picture. It will definitely frame it up on a digital platform and put it out there to show your support for the SDGs if your organization is not able to participate with the UNGC at this time. Okay, so I have information that Busayo lost connectivity. So that question will transfer it to her and then probably get you feedback on that particular question. She was actually typing out an answer, but she lost connection. So if there are no any Okay, so I have information that Busayo is back. Let me just quickly confirm. Okay, so I think the connection in Lagos is not really great at this time. So if you have any questions whatsoever, please drop them in the Q&A box. If not, please, we'll just move quickly along. I'd just like to hand it over to Meghan to make comments as we draw to a close. We want to hear from the Senior Manager of Participant Engagement from New York.
Thank you, Tumi. There are a number of questions in the chat regarding how to join the UN Global Compact. So it's quite a straightforward process, and we'll circulate the information over email so that you have the links. But as you can see up here on the screen, we require an online application, which is brief. It asks a few fundamental questions about your business or organization. And then we ask all companies to submit a letter of commitment. We have templates available on our website to download for that letter of commitment, but essentially it includes a commitment to the 10 principles, to completing the annual communication on progress, and it should be signed by your highest level executive, which typically is the CEO. Once we receive those materials, it takes our team about 2 to 3 weeks to review them and process them. We reach out if we have any clarification questions that are needed. And then once you join the UN Global Compact, you'll begin receiving a series of onboarding emails that walk you through how to engage with the initiatives. You can have a call with the local network, Tumi, or myself to onboard you. And of course, you will then receive access to our various platforms, including the Academy and a participant profile that you can sign into as well. So hopefully that answered everyone's questions regarding how to join. And again, you'll receive a follow-up email with details on how to submit an application if you're interested in joining, which we hope you are. I think that answered all the questions to me. I'm looking through the other ones in the chat here, but I think many of them we answered regarding can you join as an individual. There were some questions about engaging with local network Nigeria or the Global Compact. So I shared a few links through on how to see internship and employment opportunities if that's of interest, and how to sign up for or register rather for events that are coming up as well. Tumi, anything to add?
Hi, thanks, Meghan. So I just also spotted a question that says, is there a minimum requirement for organizations joining the UN Global Compact? No, there is no minimum requirements. However, we have some integrity procedures, which we would see in the application, but they basically cover if your organization is engaged with, has a particular percentage in terms of revenue from tobacco, or you're engaged in the productions of landmines, cluster mines, we do not accept organizations that engage in these activities. So I also see that Busayo is back. Would you like to answer the question?
Yes, sorry. Again, the internet continues to fail me. So the buses, I mean, they're electric vehicle buses, and today, I mean, we're trying to keep it as clean as possible. So yes, we'll have an IPP, but we're also looking at powering or ensuring that the charging points are powered through renewable sources of electricity. And that is also a core focus area of this project. In terms of commencement, in the process of raising funding, but we're looking at rolling out sometime next year. Tentatively sometime next year. But of course, everything else, all the underground work that's required to bring this to fruition is being implemented as we speak. So you will read about us, you will hear about it, and hopefully you would also use those buses in transporting yourselves to and fro your destinations. Thank you.
Thank you, Busayo, and thank you, Meghan, once again. Okay, so very quickly, I see more question. It says, where can I get more info on the Young Sdg Innovators and Climate Accelerator programs? So what will be done after this is you'll receive a follow-up email that will direct you to the subject areas of our offerings. So you'll see more information on our accelerators. These are 2 of our accelerators that we run. So you will receive details on this and general information that you might need as well. So thank you very much for your time, everyone. I would just like to implore you to please, we have a survey that's been dropped in the chat. Please fill the survey. We would like to hear from you. The information we'd like to know is your interest areas as an organization in Nigeria, because that would also help with the kind of programmatic offerings we decide to implement in Nigeria. Because like I said earlier, we really want to meet you at the point of your need. Please fill the survey. If you have any questions whatsoever, you can send us an email. We have on our screen, you see our contact details. You can send us an email at info@globalcompactng.org. If you also want to make any other inquiries, please send an email to that address that I mentioned earlier. We'll definitely respond to you. Please, you can as well follow us if you want to be abreast of our activities, of our events, of our reports as well. We actually have a very wholesome report library. So, and it's open access. So regardless of you being a participant or not, you can actually access this library. You can keep up with our activities on LinkedIn. The United Nations Global Compact is the name of the global office. And then the UN Global Compact Network Nigeria is the name of our platform or our page on the LinkedIn platform. So you're abreast of our activities in Nigeria. On Instagram as well, you'll see Global Compact. So I think for the global office, it's at Global Compact, and then for Nigeria, it's at Global Compact Nigeria. And you can also access our email address, rather our website, I beg your pardon, which is www.unglobalcompact.org. So thank you once again for your time. We hope that you'd engage with us. We very much look forward to collaborating you on addressing societal issues as you advance the sustainability journey. Thank you very much for your time once again, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.